Hello, everyone. I'm Christina, and darkness seems to be inching its way into our lives. Things are going a little haywire, and a lot of us think that this is going in a very dangerous situation. So, we're going to talk about that. We're going to take a look into it, into what we could be looking at in our near future. All right. In the meantime, I want to ask everyone to subscribe if you're new. That really helps a lot. Definitely share the videos, and I love your comments. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? It is getting to be a critical time in history. We all feel that this is a prophetic time, not just something that we're seeing in the news. All right. And we all see that this is going somewhere. So we're just going to take a look at, first of all, just to start, just some headlines that have been in the news, a few from each day. And you can just see that things are going in a certain direction. Then we're going to look at some other things that I think you're going to be pretty interested in. Hello, Earl Scott. You get a good night's rest. Hello, Wildman Argo, Christy Betts, Jeff Jacobs. I'm so glad to see all of you here. It's wonderful. Thank you all. We're all ready for the thumbs up. All right, y'all ready to get started? Let's do it. Okay. Now, a lot of us have a pretty good memory of what's been going on, okay? But starting with day 3, what I found interesting that Stephen Danoon was reporting that New York City is now in danger. Like it's a place that needs to be on high alert. And maybe it should be. Maybe it should. But see, that's on our land. That's on our continent. It's not over there they're talking about. And he was discussing it in tandem with what is going on in the Ukraine. See, Americans are already got their eyes. There's at least one eye looking. Some people wake up every morning and check that news to see those updates, right? But see, there's more and more hints, even as of early as day 3 of what was going on in Ukraine, that New York City needed to watch it. That's day 3. Y'all understand? Hello, Sandy, and love your neighbor. It's good to see you too. I do believe that we are also on the verge of a natural disaster too, Sandy. Absolutely. Okay, day 4. Governor Greg Abbott asked Texas restaurants, retailers to remove all Russian products, i.e., their alcohol, their vodka. But I wanted to remind everybody that they say 90% of the vodka is made here. It's not, only 10% comes from Russia. So be sure when you're boycotting certain products. They're also saying, it's a channel called KVUE says China is funding Russia's move in the Ukraine. All right, still day 4, Biden halts natural gas leases, and what they say on the news is an insane move during Russian energy crisis. Now, maybe that is insane. Maybe that's the last thing to do. Maybe he's working out a script with that's between those countries that have been going on for a long time. Who knows? Or maybe he's afraid that certain places are going to get hit in America. Either way, it doesn't foster confidence right now in Americans, this halting of natural gas leases, okay? Still day 4, Russian troops meet with stiff resistance. Ukrainian forces retake Kharkiv, saying that we are in a new world, which they keep saying it keeps being said. And that is making us very, very nervous. It's making everybody nervous, all right? Because it's even coming out of the Ukraine. There's just this new world order talk. Russian POWs say they were tricked, threatened during the invasion, saying they were just supposed to be there on, what do they call it, drills? They look like they're about 18 years old. They look like they literally just got a uniform thrown on them and, given basic, 5-minute training on the tank and said, go on, boys. They look like doe-eyed deer, these POWs, even though they do look like so far they're being treated okay. So far. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, we got a lot more people coming in. Pete Jones, Trample On. Welcome. But before all these, they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. That's what the Bible says. Yes, it does. All right. So either the POWs are telling the truth or maybe not. I don't know, but there's something that tells me they probably are telling the truth, and I'll explain that in a minute. Russia was heading for America. Russians are heading for America. Excuse me. They said they had some defectors coming here, but who knows? How do we know that they're defectors of Russia, not plants? I don't know. Okay. This same day, day 4, Putin put nuclear forces on alert. Nuclear. All right. U.S. and Russia, they say, was put at DEFCON 2 while Russia and Ukraine discussed peace. But that they've got missiles getting ready. They're going up in alert level, okay? And they're supposed to be talking peace, which we find out day 5, peace talks failed with Ukraine. That same day, day 5, now U.S. is warning to get gas masks for nuclear fallout and prepare for shelters. That's what they're saying. Basically, prepare your shelters, prepare to get ready to go into your shelters, okay? Same day, I think that's day 5 was yesterday. U.S. banks are preparing for cyber attacks. And you just stop and think, you go, well, they've been hacking our sweet spots for years now. Every single important level, they can end it all. They've been hacking us for years, preparing for this very thing. All right. What makes this suspicious to me is even John Burke commented that the equipment they're using is old, but we know that Russia has advanced weapons that we've never seen before, things that the Bible describes, okay? Like, eyes melting in your head kind of stuff, okay? Sorry to be so gruesome. So what are they doing with these old tanks, with these doe-eyed, chicks out there? You see what I'm saying? It just seems... And I may be wrong, but it seems like something's a little off. I can't put my finger on it, okay? But even Biden admits that some of what... Okay. Oh, okay, that's what it was. John was saying that even some of what Biden was doing doesn't make sense. Can be a little sus, right? But everyone is surprised at how Ukraine is held up. And I think either it's because they definitely want this land. They don't want to mess it up too much. Maybe, I don't know. That'll have to see. Okay. But I see that right now, if it's doing anything, it's providing an illusion that Putin and his army are weak, which is one of Russia's oldest tactics, is to appear weak when you are strong. Okay. And right now, the media is trying to question his cognitive abilities, but really, that's just a lot of word salad. It's pretty obvious that he knows exactly what he's been doing, and he's been planning it for years. He didn't plan this for years and just suddenly lose his mind. No, he's going along with the plan. Okay. Also wanted to just kind of throw in there that there is supposed to be another blood moon in May. All right. And those are usually supposed to be harbingers of things, really bad times ahead. And it will be visible from South America, but people in the U.S., particularly on the East Coast, should be able to see it too. Lunar eclipses occur when the Earth passes between the moon and the sun in such a way that it blocks the sun's light. Okay, so they're talking May 15th to the 16th. It'll be visible North, South America, Europe, Africa, and parts of Asia. All right, just throwing that in there. Going to look at the comments really quick. Yep, this is a good time to be close with Jesus for real, because we are not done with our talk. No, we are not, because we are going to take a very in-depth look at a couple of things. All right, everybody, looks like you're being polite. Very nice manners, everybody. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Okay. Today, people are still fleeing Ukraine. Putin moves his family. Now, if this doesn't tell you something, okay, America is going on high alert, and Putin is moving his family to underground bunkers. And what was it, just last week? There were rumors in the rumor mill in America that elites in America were going to their bunkers. I mean, just kind of coincidental, right? But that's today. they reported that Putin's moving his family to bunkers. I mean, he's expecting, you know, fire back at him because he fired on somebody. He's expecting an attack on his country, okay? And that folks have lately been talking amongst themselves because they have the idea that everything that Russia is doing is part of a journey on its way to attacking Israel. And I think that's right, which is prophetic, okay? And he's going to get his friends involved, okay? His allies, and that which lines right up with the Bible, okay? All right, next we're going to take a look at Damien Baleron. It's a testimony that was left on BitChute called Events to Come. And one of my subs, I can't remember which one of you gals sent it, but one of y'all sent this to me to check it out. And I want to thank you for that. It's Events to Come for 2021 to 2022. Okay, hold on just a second. All right, it is written out. He was saying these events will happen in 21, 22. All right. Says there will first be a blackout, no electricity, but it will last for months. No open stores. What is coming is much more difficult than you could ever imagine. The blackout will be much more frightening than, I can't say that word. It's going to be frightening. Okay. Martial law will be imposed during the blackout, and you will not be able to leave your house, not even to walk the dog. If you go outside, you could be eliminated without explanation. He believes there will be many suicides because of the blackout. There are other things. I really should leave a link to this because there are a lot of words that are trigger words for this platform that I really shouldn't talk about, but I can go over some of these things. Okay. And whether he's accurate or not, I think that this is a lot that, at least something that's on our minds. Okay, he's saying during the blackout, they will poison the water of larger cities. He thinks that this will happen in cities of populations greater than 100,000 people. Boiling the water will not solve the problems. He talks about thermal nuclear war, the consequences of it being a terrible global famine. He asked what role Spain would play in all this, and he answered that the faith in Spain is already totally destroyed. Spain is finished. It is destroyed. The elite had Spain in its crosshairs, and they have totally destroyed it. Now, whether that happens or not, we'll see. Okay? He talks next saying that there will be an asteroid impact during May 1 through 15. Will split into smaller and large pieces, which is around the blood moon now that I see that. The smaller piece will fall into the Atlantic close to Florida. The larger piece will fall in the Pacific, okay? He talks about the heights of the waves, and all of this we're kind of expecting anyway. He talks about horrific temperatures lasting for months, Yellowstone erupting, and that God will help the believers, okay? There's a whole lot. I'll go back and put this link in there. It was written out, but I think I'll leave the link to the actual video that he played. Okay. And you can make your own decisions about that. Okay. I think they have us looking out the front door while they are coming through the back. They could be because Biden's trying to take our border troops off our border. It could easily happen. They've already poisoned the water, a lot of it. Yeah, you're absolutely right. More dates. And this June 6th, there's no way that's squeaking by without incident. I don't know. I don't know. Babylon is not really suffering when in 1 hour it is destroyed. All right. Still, we're doing great. Now, I also wanted to bring up a movie from 1983 because a lot of this, it wasn't just prophecy, but it was talked about a lot in the churches, okay? And so they also consequently made movies, okay? This one in particular seems so in line with what we're actually starting to go through now that it actually surprised me. I did leave the link to that in the description box, along with a link to my backup channel and equipment Emergency equipment, you might want to get ahead of time. It's up to you. Okay. But the movie's called The Day After. And it ends with this thing, but I'm going to start with it. It says the catastrophic events that you witnessed are, in all likelihood, less severe than the destruction that would actually occur in the event of a full nuclear strike against the United States. It is hoped that the images of this film will inspire the nations of this earth, their peoples and leaders, to find the means to avert this fateful day. So they know it's coming. They know it's coming. So they did a movie up in Kansas, and the people helped them, so it was pretty nice, but I wanted to kind of give you the bullet points. It doesn't really suffice for watching the movie, but I think you'll start seeing that some of this is interesting. Okay, everything is normal when the movie starts. People are going about their lives. All nations are suddenly put on high-level alert. East Germany begins to push back against Russia. Russians have invaded West Germany. American grocery stores are crowded with folks buying up supplies in a panic. U.S. soldiers are deployed. News that America might be at war is announced on the television. Folks are advised to unplug TVs and radios. They were saying that back in 1983. So I don't know. They were probably thinking about maybe an EMP blast coming through. But nowadays that would take on a completely different meaning because there are smart TVs too. It could be for an EMP blast, but it could also be, for tracking purposes of, what I'm saying, that we might still have to unplug and turn off those phones and computers. Hello, Tammy. It's good to see you. It's good to see Shane, an Irish guy. It's good to see everybody. Pete Jones. Okay. Alrighty. American farmers and their families watch in horror and fear as missiles come out of their land toward unknown targets. Similar scenes are seen across the country. Sirens start sounding in a particular city. People are running to and fro. Traffic is gridlocked. EMP is detonated over America. Cars stop. All electronics, phones, elevators, water fountains, even surgery is interrupted. City experiences sudden destruction with a bright light. Millions are instantly incinerated. Kid is blinded from looking at the blast. You cannot look at this flash. It will burn your retinas. You will be blinded. And of course, there's no way to fix that. Okay. I guess unless you get new retinas, I think they can do that now, but it'll blind you. Folks in neighbor places are deeply depressed in the neighborhoods where they have folks, and they're in shock while others try to comfort them. Survivors walk around aimlessly while others begin to build a form of communication and/or radios from basic parts. Scientists warn that they can't burn the wood, and I thought that was interesting, from near the area because it has been contaminated from the blast and will release radioactive materials upon being burned. They suggested using bottled gas. That was exactly her words, bottled gas. I don't really know what that is. Is that like propane or what is that? Okay, survivors are dirty and coughing, and some are already sick from the radiation poisoning. At night, they sit in darkness. There are long soup lines, food scarcity, the air is polluted, people are coughing more, faces aren't covered with any protection, and gas masks are needed here, but nobody seems to have them. And I did say a few months ago, I said that God was telling me to get a gas mask. And, well, gas mask for my family, and that was back in November that I was told to do that. So that's starting to come and play, and it's starting to come into the news. And here it is in this movie. See, because they knew that these would be some of the things that we would be seeing and experiencing. And we can totally see that happening. A lot of people don't have gas masks, okay? Some people fall away from the faith after the cities have been attacked. It's one of those, how could God do this kind of things? They were looking for plants that are least susceptible to ultraviolet radiation. Regular folks begin killing one another. One man tries to stay clean-shaven in front of a broken mirror, even though he is beginning to deteriorate. A gym is packed with sick people from the blast. Everyone's hair is falling out that was within 30-mile perimeter from ground zero. There's silence and desolation. Communication is trying to be reestablished by citizens to nearby towns. Clarissa, it's good to see you. During World War II, people had to put black curtains on their windows as well as turn off all the lights and radios. You should watch Thread's British version of The Day After. The British version? Ooh, I didn't know there was a British version, Eric. Nice. Thank you. Found your channel this week. I love your content and perspective. Good stuff. Thank you, Pete. I really appreciate that. About the London Blitz. Yeah, that was back in 39, 40, wasn't it? Butane. Okay, butane. I have a bad back. If I cold turkey off painkillers, I'll have another stroke. Yeah, that was one of the things is, people were in the middle of surgery and all their machines and the lights even were completely off. So we know that the sicker ones aren't going to fare so well. We're going to lose a lot of people just because they won't be able to have the medication they need. Or even the assistants. And even in this movie, there might not have been a hospital there, but there were nurses and doctors that were scattered about population. They would help who they could, and there was a lot more patients than there was staff that could help. Kratom will get you off the pain pills. Yeah, I've heard a lot of great things about Kratom. And there's also that wild lettuce salve. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's not addictive either. I'm wondering if EMP would affect my head with all the metal. It could, Jeff, but they have these caps now that they've made for stuff like that. So you might want to look into that. Seriously. Hello, Rob Stewart. It's good to see you, honey. So glad to see you. I definitely want to watch that version of the movie, but they were saying straight before this movie that it would be a lot worse. Now, considering that we are looking at this stuff in the news, it's not, it's going to happen one day because that's prophecy. We can see that there are straight up threats here. There were straight, clear messages from Putin that of what he was planning to do if we interfered at all, right? But it's like that was the hook in Biden's jaw. He is compelled, and I can't say right now. There is a lot of propaganda. There's some messages that are a little strange, conflicting even. Even my daughter was like, during a time like this, Russia would shut down the media, but it's like the media in Russia is able to, show these protests. She just kind of wasn't buying it. She's like, this doesn't look right. Mystery Babylon. Yeah, and I mean, you got to think if Sodom and Gomorrah got rain of fire on them, we may not get volcano fire coming down or asteroids raining down pieces on us necessarily, but missiles, that still sounds like fire from the sky to me, right? If he didn't let Sodom and Gomorrah go, he's not going to let us go. And there's so much more that wickedness that's been going on leading up to this, just public displays of defiance and rebellion against God. And it looks like as of Heather McDonald, that comedian, he's not having his name blasphemed right now. It looks like he's starting to make immediate use of some of these things, these proud, rebellious things that are going on. Okay. I'm wondering. Yep. Okay. We've read that one. You need to make sure that you have what you need. This really might be it, because there are going to be some shipping issues now, because I mean, they are saying that China holds like 90% of the wheat supply. We sold all of it, and they even have ports in West United States, that California area, right? Reports circulating around British news agencies that Russian president has moved his family to an underground city designed to survive. Hello, Shadowburned. Hello, Janet. Yes, everybody should be repenting because, like with Jeremiah, when Israel was getting ready to be destroyed, he had warned them. You can't say that you're righteous and commit murder and steal and all this stuff and then come into God's house and say that you are holy. You see what I'm saying? You've got to repent. You've got to come with a heart of remorse and sincerely want to change and follow Christ and his ways the way that we're supposed to. Okay? Not just, oh, one time I said, forgive me and I'm covered. Okay? You really want, he wants somebody without spot or wrinkle on their garments. Hello, Debbie Lynn Rodriguez. Loving that. So now we're seeing that the Russian, I don't know, their money system, they're starting to lose value. And that means that if it's going to happen there, I know it's heading here soon because, again, the shipping problem. So our money, things are already costing more and more, right? We're getting less and less and less. So whatever, it's going to get scarcer over time. That's what it was supposed to do in prophecy. So you're going to have to make sure that you have everything, not just food and water. You're going to need bleach. You're going to need a lot of things, okay? Because all the clothes, they're going to get dirty really fast. All your dishes, they're going to go fast too. All right. All of your food probably will rot in most of your freezers and fridges. Okay. What backup do you have to cook? Because that Houston blizzard that happened a year ago, people had food, but they only had microwaves. And they're talking that we will go back to lights out before there was electricity. Okay. We're going to be back to bicycles and horses and carriages at some point. And I'm not saying that, okay, it's fixing to happen right now, but I do know that I had visions, and I talked about this before. It was like a year or so ago. I talked about this vision diary that I keep and how I'd seen that certain things were happening, and that the very next thing was that the food donation bin suddenly goes empty, and then everybody is putting their heads, they're kneeling on the floor against their locker with their heads against the locker, covering their heads. They're ducking and covering because nukes are coming. That was in my vision from like a year ago, maybe 2 at the most. And those were the only things that hadn't happened. So right now it's looking like the shelves could start going empty. You just never know. With the way things are going, it's very uncertain. A lot of people are nervous. All right. In the old days, people stored food in dugout cellars lined with stones. Man, it'd be nice if we had cellars here in Texas. We don't. We start digging and we end up with a pool. Primitive ways of storing food. Yes. What is that? They have those primitive living or primitive something channel that they use a stick and sand and some tree sap and make an underground swimming bungalow. Primitive ways of storing food. Okay, right? Hi. Hopefully now everybody wants to talk about prepping. Now everybody, and I'm not talking about preppers because I'm saying the majority that's left. Now they're starting to think, oh my gosh, okay, who have we, they're starting to panic, sort of like in that movie, when it's on, when it really becomes certain, everybody's going to head to those grocery stores where people can get killed. Literally, you've seen it on Black Friday for a TV. You think that for food, that you're going to just go up there and be safe? You'll have to be the one to just already be ready and staying at home when this happens. But this is where it looks like it's heading. It eventually prophetically will. But you always had to kind of wonder, what's the trigger? How, you know what I'm saying? And even in prophecy, Israel was always the goal. They just kind of had to get America out of the way so they could have an easier time doing it, not realizing that God is going to step in and, put them in their place. He really is not taking a whole lot more of this. Clarissa says, I had a dream a year ago. I was outside at a school. A mushroom appears and orders the kids to go inside. Yeah. Yeah, that's scary. I wonder if parents would be, you know what I mean? Parents be trying to get their kids, but the air wouldn't be good. And I wonder how many people seriously are going to look at the blast, look at the flash instead of close their eyes like they should and put their faces down. People don't know to do that anymore. Not everybody, at least. Hello, Todd Smith. Everybody should get a hard copy of the Lost Ways book and an herbal medicine book, and obviously make sure it's a hard copy. Also, my daughter, she got a Russian English dictionary, like translation book. It's like, just learn a few of the words that might be critical to us. You know, she's learned a little bit, but she's been so busy she hasn't been able to keep up with it lately. She's still in high school. Sandy says, I got a water bob and filled my bathtub filled with water. That's good. I don't want to send my son to school right now. See, homeschool's just looking better and better and better, isn't it? Pamela Barron, I'm assuming that's it, or Barone. I'm glad you made it too, Pamela. I say bring it on. You can do anything if you put your mind to it. What if? Yes, yes. Well, since we know eventually it is coming, we have to start thinking about gas masks. You have to. You have to start thinking, the water, it's not going to be there. You can't be on the coasts. You can't be in the city. A lot of the things I was talking about the last 7 years, you can go back and look. I was talking about getting off the coast. I was talking about when Red Dawn really happens. I was telling y'all everything that God was showing me. And it's just the things I was talking about, they're just continuously popping up in the news this last year, really. Jomada. Hello, Jomada. Okay. All right. So, you want to know how prepared are you? How prepared are any of us? Eventually, obviously, when it does happen, the situation is going to be fluid, but you want to be understanding that the roads are automatically going to be gridlocked because they're going to send in an EMP. You're not going to be able to go anywhere as of the event in most cases unless you are in the backwoods and no back routes and whatnot. If you're going to go and you see signs that you should go, then go. I mean, Putin is. The elites around here supposedly are. Make sure that your go bag is updated. You understand what I'm saying? Start thinking about, the fact that if we're going in the woods, we might need that pink camphophenique lotion. We might need antibiotic ointment. You've got to think about those female monthly issues, and that includes the pain medicine you take to get over it. All right. And that's why I say, if you have a couple $100 to buy that backup battery, because there's a huge $250 coupon. If you have it, get it. Get it. Links are in the description box. Just things you might not think of. Okay. Just, do you have a tent? And if you do, is it bright orange or something so everybody can spot you? Think about those things. I purchased hazmat suits for my family just in case. Wow, that's awesome. That is really on the level for real. And just so y'all know, if y'all remember in that Indiana Jones movie, he got into a fridge to survive. No, that doesn't work. Do not get into a fridge thinking you're going to survive that. No way. That was totally movies. There ain't no way this is going to happen. You know how many bad things. Right. Aren't we going to go before something bad happens? And there's no guarantee of that. There's just no, absolutely. That is an assumption coming from fear. Okay. And when you look, yes, people will fall away from the faith because you got to imagine the kind of emotional impact that everybody's going to be suffering. They're going to be suffering post-traumatic stress. They're going to be sitting there in a lot of cases going, how could God let this happen? How come we aren't gone yet? And not want to have anything to do with God, even though God had told us this would happen ahead of time. Okay. He said, I will come in an hour you think not. Right? Bright orange tint. Right? Exactly. You're even going to have to watch your fires. Seriously. And in these cases, people, they will start degrading if they were too close, but not close enough to get completely gone, like to ashes, they're going to be sick, like really sick. Their hair falling out, looking like it came from cancer treatment, but just sicker and sicker. Okay, there should be a lot of vomiting, and there pretty much won't be anything you can do for them. Not really. And it'll be hard to watch. Okay, so I don't know how many of you actually have places. If now I've also heard that people have these hidden rooms in their houses, like behind bookcases and pictures and shelves and stuff. It's really amazing. Things that you wouldn't imagine lead to this whole other room that can be fortified, right? Put some chicken wire on there around it, and it's supposed to help with EMP blasts. If you had around the room, ceiling, maybe your equipment would be okay, because they will have to reestablish communication, even if it's to just neighboring towns. Say, hey, who is out there? What do you see? This is what I see. This is what I'm experiencing. There are troops coming in. I see jets, whatever. Here in Texas, and yes, you're right, closer, you have to take shelter wherever you can find it. If you have caves, that's really awesome. For us, we have culverts here in Texas. That would maybe help us. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe the sewer. I have no idea, Can you do a show on this info, like about fallout and stuff like that, and EMP shielding? You're a good teacher. Yeah, I'll see if I can do some research so that we can expand on that. Definitely. And I'll put links for like that cap that helps with EMP, stuff like that. Shortwave. Yes, we're going to be going back to AM radio and ham radios. So if you have a ham radio, it might end social media. You might want to make sure that there's that you tell people what your channel is, so that y'all can start linking up your channels. Yep. Okay. Okay. Yes, the cap. Thank you. All right. This is a time. This is a time. Think about your water. Think about your go bag, because you might be able to stay put for only so long. You never know. And fighting, we're going to have to fight. I hope some of y'all know some kung fu or something. I hope y'all have some basic training. I hope y'all know your veterans. I hope you know to keep an eye, because even if they say, oh, this is fizzling down and we've negotiated peace, every single Christian that knows anything about prophecy and for the last days is when they say peace. And I know that's more with Israel, but still, it was Russia that was saying, oh, y'all are just going for drills. Right now, we can't really trust a whole lot of what they're saying. I mean, we just went over the fact that they're supposedly doing these peace talks with Ukraine that failed. But at the same time, everybody was getting, he's getting his missiles out. He's about to take his family to bunkers. He may be talking peace, but his actions are saying that something else is definitely in the pipeline. And apparently there's a protocol. You can't just fire a missile. You have to go through certain protocols. And I'm wondering, if the same protocols that he could use for Ukraine would still open the same genie in the bottle for us too. You see what I'm saying? Looks like Europe is going to have a lot on their hands, and it's not just going to stay over there. I mean, right now, Putin has pretty much put his foot in it. He is knee deep. There's no going back, okay? The door has shut for not doing this. He has to go all the way, is the way this looks. And he looks like he's prepared to do it. You know what I'm saying? There is a lot of propaganda. You have to sort through some of this. Okay. Yeah, we got to watch. Yeah, Joe's supposed to have another address to the nation. Joe's address to the nation. Well, I think we're all a little worried. Or, it's like, how long are they going to let this go? The vision I had when this all started, just like in the movie, everything was normal. It's like we had 15 minutes warning and sirens happening basically before the nuke went off in this particular city I was in. I still have no idea what city it was. And I knew other cities were getting hit too. But can you imagine being on your farm with all your cows and your chickens and whatever, moo cows, And the field opens up yonder way, about an acre over, and this huge fiery dart comes out. I would be flipping, okay? For real. There'd be no doubt in my mind, okay? No doubt in my mind. Watch on the internet, okay? I know something's going on Facebook with that. I'm broke, Christina, but as soon as I can, I'm going to donate. Tammy, I want you to, I'm always thankful. I really am. But if you need that, I would rather you get something that you need right about now. God bless you, girl. God bless you. Official facts checker. Interesting how, okay. Okay, interesting how Joe's State of the Union speech got delayed till now. Perfect timing, not in Jan, or like usual. He's never really been good about appearing on stage when normally expected to be up there. All right, so all of this is just to really give you, get your mind in the preparatory state, at least in the finalizations of your preps, to really give you an idea what you should be looking for and not looking at, like the blast, okay? Just don't look. I know it's going to be tempting because, you hear a noise and you want to look and see what it is, but also prepare yourself for that backdraft wind. It's going to knock you off your feet for sure, okay? I think also don't forget that movie is in the description box, like the first link. All right, you guys. It's actually a really good movie, and it was made around the same time that Red Dawn with Patrick Swayze, who was a total hottie at the time, was well, he was always a hottie, wasn't he? But he was in that movie. It's they knew back then. They knew, and they were hoping that from then to us that we could make better decisions. But see, what's written, it's going to come to fruition so that we know that this is God. All right? We don't want to be on the wrong side of the tracks with God right now, okay? I'm going to go ahead and get off this horn. I love you guys, and hopefully I'll be talking to you very soon. God bless y'all.